I don't know, y'all. Maybe it's just me, man. Maybe it's just your boy, but boxing seemed to be a lot more fun when Errol Spence was on the scene. When EJ was on the scene and he was active, man, the boxing streets just seemed a little bit more fun. Seriously, man. Like, I always knew watching the Errol Spence fight, Errol was going to come forward. He was going to step forward. He was going to throw a lot of punches, right? Errol not going to throw 5 punches around, 7 punches around. No. He's coming full-fledged, and the punch output probably going to increase as the fight goes on in the deeper rounds, right? And right now, after because this is my boy, but he got demolished against Terrence Bud Crawford. He got beat from pillar to post. And after that, he been stagnant. We've been hearing rumors about him fighting the towering Inferno, Sebastian Fundora, which I believe will be a very entertaining fight because of the styles. They both like to fight up close. They do. They like to brawl. They like to bang. They like to bang it out. Like now, Errol works that jab very, very well from the outside, right? So it will be interesting to see him fight a taller guy, a really, really tall guy. So Fundora like 6'6". You know what I mean? And that will be extremely exciting to watch. But we gotta see when the fight is happening. You know what I mean? Now I've been seeing him recently, and it seems that the brothers figured out what's important to him in life: family, his children, enjoying the fruits of all his labor from the fights that he's had and the belts that he's won, etc. But I'm just saying, man, I'm ready to see the brother back, and I'm ready to see him back in action. When I think about, like, he's had some really exciting fights, man. That fight with Kell Brook when he went over to the UK, crazy, crazy, man. Him stopping Kell was big. You feel me? Like what Triple G had to be Kell Brook. Sean Porter and them, they couldn't do nothing with Kell. And Errol in peak shape, peak condition. And at first, it was going Kell Brook way at first. And Errol turned the tides with his punch output, his volume, and his relentlessness. You know what I mean? Then we see him in the ring with Sean Porter. Fam. That Sean Porter fight could have very well been fight of the year. Like, that was action. What them boys was doing, what my grandma called back in the day. Them boys out there humbugging. What the old school folks say, they humbugging out there, boy. Them boys stomping. They was stomping for real. Him and Sean going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Non-stop action, excitement. Errol Spence got the knockdown at the end of the fight. Dancing the south side of the realist. It was turned up. It was again, that was an exhilarating fight. I remember watching that fight with my uncle and one of his homeboys, and we was at the edge of the seat, at the edge of our seats, and we like, yo, this is crazy, because you didn't know the fight was going back and forth, and you didn't know which way it was going to turn until the championship rounds, where Errol started to take over, and Errol started to get into the lead, especially with the knockdown. The fight against Mikey Garcia, and again, people like to play revisionist history now, right? I remember when that fight was made, you had people thinking they don't know. Yeah, Errol Spence is the bigger, stronger guy, but they thought Mikey Garcia, they was talking about Mikey like he was Floyd Mayweather Jr. Like, hey, Mikey come out here, he'll beat Errol because he has a skill set. He has the boxing IQ to outbox outbox Errol. Mikey Garcia was seen as the smarter fighter. And Errol Spence beat him, showing different wrinkles of his game. It wasn't power that beat Mikey Garcia. Errol used boxing IQ, and the jab was there all night. You feel me? So watching them beat up on Mikey for all them rounds, no, he didn't get the stoppage like a lot of people predicted. Because they said if Errol were to win, people predicted that it would be by stoppage or just overwhelming brute strength and power. Errol beat him boxing him, right? Then we go to, after Errol Spence gets into the car accident, the fight he had with Yordenis Ugas. Exciting fight, man. Errol was unleashing everything but the kitchen sink at Yordenis Ugas. Got the stoppage because he damaged the orbital. Godly. He damaged Ugas's orbital bone in the fight. And that was an exciting fight to watch, because at one point, Errol's mouthpiece came out of his mouth, Errol goes looking for the mouthpiece because the ref said stop and then didn't stop them. He tried to go get his mouthpiece, and Yordenis Ugas cleans his clock. So now Errol is wobbled and he's fighting back, and then he makes a comeback at the end of the round to try to come out, and he finishes the round strong after getting hurt. Yeah, man, Errol always he's a game fighter, always fighting guys fighting guys with big names. He's not afraid to fight guys who are somebody, guys who have done things in the division, guys with a name, guys with a reputation, guys who are dangerous. And that's what I always respected about him. Came off the car accident and fought Danny Garcia immediately. Off of the car accident, don't know if he really the same fighter at all. Don't know how much he really got left. He just confident in his abilities and say, you know what? Before I got in this car accident, I said that I was going to fight Danny Garcia. After the Sean Porter fight, immediately after that, I'm going to still fight Danny Garcia. And came out and delivered and beat Danny worse than he had ever been beat at that point. Beat Danny worse than anybody had beat Danny. Sean, Keith Thurman, any of them. You know, Danny was all beat it up. Golly, I'm stuttering over words now. Danny was all battered up and beat up and, you know, all of that. So, yeah, man, Errol gotta pop back out in these streets, man, these boxing streets. Even if it's for 2 more fights, 1 more fight, whatever. I want to see him back in the ring and see what he got, man. Again, I don't know if his heart is in boxing the same way. I'm hoping that it is so that we can see something close to the Errol Spence of yesterday, of the past. Now, again, some say, well, that's gone after the Terrence Bud Crawford beatdown. That's gone after the car accident. But Errol's a very good fighter. Now, Terrence Crawford is a generational fighter. And that was the difference in that fight. But I think that Errol can come out and put on a good showing if he's still the Errol Spence Jr. he was before he fought Terrence Bud Crawford. You know what I mean? If he's even after the car accident, if he's still the Errol Spence Jr. right before the Terrence Bud Crawford fight, I still give him a chance to beat Sebastian Fundora. A very good chance at beating Fundora. Because Fundora can be hurt. But I'm waiting for Errol to get back out here, man. I remember watching Errol beat up on Chris Algieri. And how strong, how big, how powerful he looked in that fight, man. Chris Algieri was getting punished, and it was nowhere for Chris to run or hide. Even him and Lamont Peterson, when nobody wanted to fight Errol, when Errol couldn't get Keith Thurman them to pop out and all of that, and yeah, fighting Lamont Peterson in the way he was whooping on Lamont in the way, and Lamont fought valiantly, but Errol was just too big, too strong, too overwhelming, and he does what he does. He was doing what he does best at a high clip, high rate. But again, Errol Spence still does not have a trainer. He's not with Derrick James. So we have to see what's going on with that. I've seen him with Frank Martin on social media. He looks like he's in shape. People talking about he look fat and overweight. He don't look like that at all to me. Not at all. Errol look like he about 160 pounds right now. 164, like 165 pounds. Something like that. You know what I mean? He don't look like he 190. Because Errol used to be getting up to like 190, 185 after fights. You know what I mean? He look like he about 165 right now. Look pretty good. Look like he's keeping his weight in order. Like he's eating healthy. And I'm just hoping that he's been in the gym and he's been sharpening up his skills and getting back active and doing some type of sparring at some point, because I'm ready to see Errol Spence Jr. back in the boxing game. It's a lot more exciting when he's in the boxing game, at least for me. Maybe I'm speaking for myself. Who knows? What do y'all think? Machiavelli Mills TV. Y'all hit the like button. Y'all hit the subscribe button as well. I'm out, y'all. Peace.